this is Datila, and welcome to the TNAIW GoGo Power Ranking Show. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First, to my right, he's the third rascal. He's the star of the show, the one and only Burt Macklin.
And it feels good to be a rascal right now. Get your spray paint out.
Smoke him if you got him.
Exactly.
And to my left, he is the godfather of the Power Rankings, the DNA of LO TNA. He puts the Lucha and Luchasaurus, the Lucha and Lucha House Party, the brother, Lucha Brothers, the one and only Lucha.
Yeah, see, you hear that? Yeah, not a fan. Yeah, I got shooters everywhere.
So, who do you guys think made the Power Rankings this week? I'll start. I heard a little birdie said that Johnny Swinger had a match on BTI. So, I did something I normally don't do. I actually watched BTI, well, just a Johnny Swinger match. And Johnny Swinger won. He beat Shelton Jean. Sure, there's a little asterisk there, but I hope to see Johnny Swinger on the Power Rankings.
And I think this is going to cause some debate. I think we're going to see the highest person. I think we're going to be the highest someone's ever been in a loss. And I'm talking about Kevin Knight. I don't care if he lost that match. He better be on these rankings because there was not one point in that match where I'm like, oh, Kevin Knight's not is going to take this. I mean, he's not going to take this match. He gave Moose everything he had. And I think that you watched a star. He was already a star, but now I think he's ascending in that, like in the NBA, there's stars, there's all-stars, and there's superstars. I think he went from an all-star, and I think he's getting on that superstar cusp. Give me some Kevin Knight.
I agree. Star-making performance by Kevin Knight. What about you, Lucha?
I'm kind of on the same time with Burt is on because Kevin Knight, him and Moose wrestled their ass off. That match to me was the winner of the new award that I'm presenting to matches every week called the Lucha Doncic TNA Chant Match of the Night. Now that the tag team title main event between All Night Draw and the Rascals was very TNA worthy. But there was something about Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight and Moose's matchup kind of gave me, and shout out to my old school TNA heads on this one. But that match kind of gave me Kurt Angle versus Kazarian vibes from, I think it was 2008 when Kazarian had that shot at Kurt. And that match pretty much made Kazarian like a made man in TNA, even though he was already a made man, which makes that even crazier.
Yeah, and also I always reference this too, like, it's that other company up north. But it always just will remind, matches like that will just always remind me of Jeff Hardy versus The Undertaker. You know what I mean? Like when Jeff Hardy came out of that match, a bigger deal. Like Lucha just said, it wasn't like Kevin Knight. I mean, Kazarian wasn't a thing. But after that match, it was like, okay, he's a bigger deal now.
Climb the ladder, kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Get it, Jeff. JR was on fire that night.
JR thought this shit was real for that man.
So I have to agree with both of you guys. Kevin Knight's a star, a huge star, and that's it. Just goes to show how good Impact is at building these stars. They built up Yuya Uemura, and now they built up Kevin Knight. So really happy to see that.
Like there's a thing in like sports when like voters get the MVP fatigue. It's like every year you could vote for LeBron as MVP. Like Impact making stars, I think it's getting old because they do it so much. Not that it's a bad thing, but there's just like, remember when Chris Jericho brought out that list of moves, 1,001 holds he knows? That's how long this list is of names that Impact has made. Too many, you know what I mean? Obviously, there's Drew McIntyres, but, like, they're just making stars every week.
And with that being said, let's play these Power Rankings. Number 10, PCO. Number 9, Swan and Callahan. Number 8, Tag Team Champion Subculture. Number 7, World Champion Trinity. Number 6, Motor City Machine Guns. Number 5, Kevin Knight. Number 4, Tag Team Champions MK Ultra. Number 3, Bully Ray Myers and Moose. Number 2, Deonna Purrazzo. Number 1, The Rascals.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, I was surprised too by these power rankings.
Why the fuck is PCO here?
I'll tell you why. Because we're going to start with number 9 and number 10. So, number 9 being Sami Callihan and Rich Swann, and number 10 being PCO. They actually tied. And because PCO and them tied, it actually knocked off Lio Rush. Lio Rush had 18 points, while PCO and Sami and Rich had 19 points as well. So if it wasn't for that tie, Rich Swann probably would have made. I mean, Lio Rush would have made the power rankings. It knocked Lio Rush off the power rankings because of that tie.
I think we should replace
PCO.
In my head, Kenny King's on there, not PCO, but that's just me.
What the fuck did PCO do?
Survived. Came back from the dead.
But no, that's what that was his excuse for barely making it last week. This week, fuck that. Fuck it all.
Well, somebody wrote it for PCO. Like I said, he tied with Rich Swann and Sami Callihan.
I don't get it.
Me neither. I would have taken PCO off and put Lio Rush. Like Lio Rush just missed it by a point.
As we go through the show, I'm gonna tell you people that I would take out for Kenny King, because I'm pissed. That joke he told backstage was hilarious. But again, it's fine. I'll have to keep championing for him. He makes my top 10 every week.
Yeah, I don't know who voted in these power rankings, but PCO made it just by a point. By a point. I'm shocked, personally.
Disgusted.
I don't think I can find the appropriate adjective to describe it.
Now, let me take over the reins real quick, because now me and Burt, we really thought the world of that Kevin Knight performance from Impact this past week versus Moose. Yes, in a losing effort, but that man fought his heart out.
Mm-hmm.
But for him to be over both world champions, not even just Alex Shelley and the Motor City Machine Guns at 6, but then Trinity again at 7. I understand they didn't wrestle this week, but they're still the world champions. Their stock didn't fall. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we left this week's episode saying, "Oh man, Trinity or Alex Shelley, they're mad weak. They're they're trash can dressing," as I like to call it. No, that wasn't the case. They're the world champs. So for Kevin Knight to be ahead of both of them, it's not sitting right with the kid.
Kevin Knight got 40 points. Motor City Machine Gun as a unit got 39 points. And Trinity got 36 points. So he beat Motor City Machine Guns by a point.
You know what? I hate to do this, but I would leave Kevin Knight where I have a bigger problem with Deonna being ahead of her. Because even though Deonna's victory was, you know what I mean, like that submission move looks like it hurts. I would always have in my head the number one contender below the champion. I cannot take Kevin Knight out of that spot just for the simple fact that was my match of the night. And again, like, I can't remember the last time someone pushed Moose to the limit like that. You know what I mean? When Moose was champion, he was just dominating and on his way to the champion. I just, again, like, I agree with with Lucha, but I think it's more about other people being ahead of Trinity than just Kevin Knight. That's the only one I don't have a problem with, is Kevin Knight ahead of her. And again, if we want to move Trinity into the top 5, that's fine. But I just would not. I think Kevin Knight deserves that spot just because of how hard that man worked out there. You know what I mean?
And doesn't that doesn't that also make Bully Ray, Moose, and Myers at number 3? Kind of shouldn't that solidify it a little more that they probably should be at number 3, considering, you know, a part of their unit, Moose, got that win over Kevin Knight in this amazing match that we're all talking about. Like, we can't gloss over the fact that at the end of the day, Moose won.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one, dude. Twitter was abuzz about that match. I heard so many people talking about that match, and it was justified.
They released the full match on YouTube, like with the breaks and all that stuff included. They don't do that very often. That's how you know you got one.
Yeah. I'm just baffled here. I mean, Kevin Knight did give a star-making performance, but ultimately Moose did win that match, and
he cut a great promo before that. You know what I mean? Like, the guy can talk, the guy can wrestle. You know what I mean? It's not just.
I mean, God, I don't know how I feel about him being ahead of Alex Shelley, who is our Impact World Champion.
Again, that's another thing too. You always have to remember that when you're the top champ, it's not so much a workhorse belt. That he doesn't have to be on the show every week. So sometimes they'll suffer from that. You know what I mean? When you're trying to chase number 1, you're going to be on the show more because you have to prove more. You know what I mean?
How about we talk about number 4, MK Ocho, who they came in at number 4 over, and our tag team champion Subculture came in at number 8. Do you agree with that? MK Ocho being ahead of Subculture?
Hell yeah, I do. Killer Kelly beat 2 people. And again, no disrespect to Subculture, nothing they're doing is Impact canon right now. Give me a pre-tape promo. Give me something. But Killer Kelly went out there and beat Savannah Evans and Jessica. And you saw the way that she won with the Death Valley driver throwing Savannah on Jessica, or was it the other way around? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. She went out there and took that spot.
Yeah, no.
And again, since they both won the belts, because I don't care about what's not happening in Impact, because we have to use the same rule that we use with other stuff that have an impact. MK Ultra is the stronger team since winning the championships in Subculture. For the stronger champs. And I'm scared of Masha and Killer Kelly, so.
What do you think, Lucha?
I mean, the only thing that was proven to me was that Killer Kelly could ride that ride, even though she wasn't this tall. She didn't let her height limit her, and she challenged what Jessica said successfully. It is a little crazy that we have both tag champions ranked in the top 10. Was the last time we've been able to say that?
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, and then it's also like, is Subculture getting up here because of their non-canon? Are they blending canon and non-canon? Because, like, yeah, they're not on Impact TV every week and, you know, doing the grind like people are trying to make top 10 every week, but they are the tag champs and are doing canon things over across seas. But I feel like the committee is confused on giving them props for canon shit.
What would help them, and this is an Impact thing, why not show their matches on BTI every week from overseas? Give me some highlights. You know what I mean? Like, make it so we can see these, you know what I mean? Because, again, I don't have the means to watch their matches. So if I saw them, and again, even though it's not in an Impact ring, it still would, it would still maybe sway me a little bit more if I saw this stuff. Or even a promo. You know what I mean? Because I voted for Kenny King this week, not just because he's a champ, but he cut a promo. You know what I mean? Like, so just sometimes you need to be seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, damn, I'm just baffled by these power rankings. I was not expecting these to be this week's power rankings. But let's talk about the real issue here. Johnny Secret did not make the power rankings despite the fact that he got a win on BTI. But I agree with you, Burt. They should show subculture matches on BTI. At least some highlights. You don't have to show the whole match.
Or put them on Impact's YouTube channel or Impact. You know what I mean? Put them on there to be available for us.
Yeah, exactly. Because I can't watch Subculture's tag team match overseas.
I mean, if it's a title defense, just make that one of the main event Monday matches that they put on Impact Plus.
Good point.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right. Number one, I think you're going to be happy with this, Burt. Number one, the Rascals getting the big win over Sami Callihan and Rich Swann. Although, there was some funny business in that match. But of course, Burt never sees it.
So does this technically make Burt number one?
Yeah, Burt's number one.
And you know what? I did see it. And it doesn't matter. A win is a win. And you got to do what you have to do. And you know what? The Rascals aren't out there to try to make fans. You know what I mean? They could give a shit who likes them. They're trying to get that gold. You know what I mean? So they had to do what they had to do. And you know what? I look at the spray paint as the unofficial third Rascal, or the fourth Rascal since I'm in there. The spray paint is just as part of the group as anything else. You know what I mean? But that was another good match. If it wasn't for Moose and Rich, I'd say that was the match of the night. I mean, Moose and Kevin Knight. But that was a really good match. Sammy and Rich are great as a team. You know what I mean? So I think we all knew who was going to win. You know what I mean? Like it just seemed like that's where we were going. So yeah, no, I think the Rascals have kind of been hovering around that top spot for the last few weeks. So I think this is well deserved.
Are you just saying that because you're a Rascal?
No, I'm saying because they won in the main event, and we have a pattern of putting the winner of the main event in the. And again, it was a number one contender match. They're going on to Emergence. I don't think there should be anybody else that should be number one besides them this week.
Can you imagine the universe when Steve Macklin comes back and we have Steve Macklin versus the Rascals, and Burt won't know what to do with his life?
I know, right? Burt's gonna be torn.
Like, that's your cousin, bro.
Like, is he going to continue being a Macklin, or is he going to stay a Rascal? Find out next week. Just kidding.
Because, I would assume Macklin's going to be coming back anytime soon. Deanna did say he's ready to go. So I think whenever Impact finds the right moment to bring him out there, we will see him. So
I'd say they should hold off until after Emergence. Like, they should either, if not Emergence, Victory Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he should come back on an episode of Impact. I think that he's going to make an impact, pun intended. I'd say it should be after Victory Road or after Emergence.
Yeah. Maybe even save him for that 1,000th episode.
Yeah. Yeah, but he'll definitely be back before Bound for Glory. So with that being said, that concludes the top 10. Now let's move on to a little segment I like to call Which Match Will Have the Biggest Implication on the Power Rankings Next Week. Hosted by yours truly, and of course with Macklin and Lucha.
We got 5 matches. We have Chris Sabin versus Samurai Del Sol, making his official debut since, Leo Rush to attack him a couple weeks ago. We got Trinity versus Jody Threat, Dina versus Laredo Kid, ABC versus the Good Hands, and my pick, the most professional match, Alex Shelley defending his belt against Brian Myers, who I'm picking to win. That's the match.
It's, to me, between that match and the match with Chris Sabin and the artist formerly known as Kalisto, because with those two, as long as they get their wins, I get what I want back, which is Motor City Machine Guns at number 1 on top of the charts, because that's where they deserve to be, because they are TNA and Alex Shelley is the world champ.
I will say, though, we have a chance for another repeat of star performance, because I don't think Trinity is losing to Jody Threat. But if Jody Threat goes out there and shows up like she has been, this could be another star-making performance.
The knockouts equivalent?
Yeah, I don't see it being a quick match. You know what I mean? So it's going to definitely be longer than Jody versus Alicia. So I think that there's a lot of steam for that match as well.
Lucha's face.
But Lucha's completely right, because the Machine Guns have 2 matches next week.
Yeah.
So
domination, Motor City domination.
And I'm pretty sure Alex and Shelley's match is going to be the main event.
Oh, for sure. And I could definitely see Chris Sabin's match opening the show. So.
Yep.
They're still in Chicago, though, right? So, I mean, do you really want to do that to Samurai Del Sol?
Yep.
Well, you know what, though? I could definitely see that match ending in a DQ because Leo Rush took out Samurai, and he was the one that took the belt from Chris Sabin. I could see him not getting a finish in that match.
I definitely agree with you, Burt. I could see Leo Rush getting involved in some type of capacity in this
match.
I begrudgingly also agree, because that just seems like a thing that would happen.
But you know what, though? Because I would rather see Leo Rush cost Sabin the match than it end in just a flat-out DQ. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see Leo Rush helping Chris Sabin win. You know what I'm saying? Do you see that?
No.
That's what. But not everyone. This isn't that company up north where they like to have people lose in their hometowns. You know what I mean? So it would be nice to get Samurai.
They'll lose in Ohio.
Everyone loses in Ohio.
Just ask the Browns.
Oh.
And yeah, just because Samurai Soul didn't get a proper debut, you know what I mean? It'd just be some mind games if Leo Rush helped him win. You know what I mean?
I think the question is, who does Leo Rush want to lose this match the most? Chris Sabin?
Well, Chris Sabin's getting the automatic rematch no matter what against him. So Leo Rush could care if Chris Sabin comes in strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's in the contract. Chris Sabin gets an automatic rematch.
And that one's the most justified, too, just because I think that match kind of like the storyline was Chris Sabin getting kind of hurt before it. You know what I mean? It was a very quick match. You know what I mean? So, it would be good to build Chris Sabin strong for the rematch, but it's not like Chris Sabin needs to prove anything. He's a 9-time champ. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I definitely see some sort of shenanigans and Samurai Del Sol getting the win with maybe a little bit of help from Leo Rush.
Yes. I definitely do think Alex Shelley is going to, for sure, hands down, no matter what, beat Brian Myers. But I think it all comes down to Chris Sabin's match against Samurai Del Sol.
And you can argue, too, make the case that there's probably going to be some shenanigans in that match. But we'll probably see some sort of brawl outside of the ring with Chris Sabin and Kushida coming to his aid, because Brian Myers is going to have Moose and Bully Ray in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so question. Okay, here's the reality we live in. Next week, Trinity wins her match. Chris Sabin loses his match. Alex Shelley wins his match. Who do we put at number 1? Who would you put at number 1? I would still rock with the Machine Guns just because of the weight of Alex Shelley's match, not only being the likely main event, but also a world title match. So I feel like a world title defense there should hold weight, at least to me. What do y'all think?
I'm gonna agree with you just because if you beat someone nicknamed the most professional wrestler, that I think that warrants you being number one.
I also have to agree. Just no offense to Jody Threat. I think she's amazing. She's definitely shown she can do a lot. But, I mean, she's still relatively new, you know?
And the machine guns are Impact royalty.
Yeah.
I agree with Lucha though.
Me too. I agree with Lucha.
I think that if Chris Sabin loses, that I don't think we should deduct points from the machine guns in terms of like not putting Alex Shelley number one if he wins his match.
Yeah, I definitely do. Alrighty. You know, before we sign off, I have to say next week's really going to be interesting because next week is a Go Home Show 2 Emergence, and we got Emergence. So that's definitely going to be.
Wait, you mean this week's show?
No. Oh.
Yes,
right.
this week is the Go Home.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So actually, now we kind of have to like, because it's 2 shows for the rankings.
Yeah.
That's definitely going to like, because that means Trinity could have 2 wins next week. Ooh. Same without, and Alex Shelley does not have a title match at the show. So I do think if Trinity wins, she will be number one next week.
You know what? Good point.
Okay, let me take it a step further. All of those things happen, and the Rascals win the tag titles at Emergence.
Well, they're still number 2 for me. And Trinity, because Trinity would get 2 wins. I have to put Trinity ahead because she's a world champion.
If I'm doing my rankings based off of this week's and, changing accordingly, looking at it from that angle, I would put the Rascals at 1 again because they won. It's the fucking Motor City Machine Gun effect with Alex Shelley and his world title. But they were already number 1. But looking at my own power rankings and changing it accordingly, it's going to be the Machine Guns.
Yeah, because I think the Team Machine Gun is main eventing Emergence, right?
Was it Time Machine?
It's Time Machine and Josh Alexander versus Bully Ray, Moose, Brian Myers, and Leo Rush.
I think Trinity and Deanna deserve to main event that show. I still like the idea of putting a 6-man all-star match as the main event. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I can see it because it's Josh's return. But I would rather get and for me, I kind of want to I don't know, not pay back, but put some respect on Trinity's name for how low she was this week. So if she gets 2 wins, I have to put her number 1.
Yeah. But say that multi-man match main event. Do you think Josh Alexander would turn heel at the end? Because it's pretty obvious. I think as after Victory Road, the feud, it's going to be Josh and Shelley at Bound for Glory. At least I think so.
Yeah, but I think Shelley's going to lose to somebody else other than Josh Alexander when he finally loses that title. Because I would rather build Josh up as a heel for a while than just having him win his first match as a heel.
But do you think he turns heel, or do you think it will just end on a happy note if that match main event?
I don't think we get it. I don't think we get a heel. I think it's going to be a slow burn.
I think that if they don't plan on turning Josh Alexander heel, I don't see that match main eventing, because I feel like if that match main event, you kind of had to end with the big angle. So I guess it'll be very telling to see what main event, Diana and Trinity, or that what is the 8-man tag match? Yeah, or the 8-man tag match. So I feel like if you're not gonna have a big angle to close the show, to close the emergence, then Trinity and versus Diana should main event. What do you think, Lucha?
I didn't even think about there being an angle in the 8-man tag and whether or not that matters as far as it being the main event. But you kind of onto something there. So I'm kind of rocking with that whole train of thought. But I'm also like, should the knockouts main event? Because has the build been, I think the build towards the OG match had a little more juice, a little more stank on it than this one. Like it's kind of just been like, yeah, they're fighting again. And that's the build. So I'm gonna go with the 8-man tag, honestly.
Okay. I see your point. I see. All right. So, does anybody have any last comments or remarks before we get ready to sign off? Okay. So, well, thank you guys all so much for watching. And as always, for the continuous support, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever TNAIW drops this video or any other video. And make sure you check out content such as Lucha. What kind of content?
Such as the so exciting 2023 Super Duper X Cup, where we here at TNAIW are crowning our first ever TNAIW Impact Wrestling X Division champion. The action kicked off last week. I don't have the bracket right in front of me, but just if you thought competition was thick last week, it's not getting any easier. We have coming up tomorrow, we have the Motor City Machine Guns collide. We have Bad Influence collide. Barn Burners, Low Key, and the artist formerly known as Trevor Lee. Y'all gotta tune in. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I feel like just saying those matches is all I have to say.
Yeah, well, that sounds exciting. All right. Well, with that being said, we'll see you guys next Tuesday for the fallout from Emergence. Bye.